Good to go.
Awesome. Kind of like the easy roll-in vibe that we've got.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's Thirsty Thursday. The Spirits Guy coming to you guys live. Wachusett Wine and Spirits.
What's going on, guys?
Here with my partner in crime, Mr. Corey. Yeah. I want to thank everybody who watched yesterday, who kind of stuck with us for that whole time. Yeah, it was an hour's worth of your day spent with us, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah. So we appreciate that. Not as ambitious today. We're still going to do some drinking. We're going to have some fun. But today we're going to talk about mezcal. As we're starting to get towards the summer, despite the fact that snow is coming.
Yeah.
Hear that? That's weird. But yeah, we're going to talk about some lighter spirits. You know, we drink a lot of whiskey, but you know, as the sun is coming out, sometimes we're switching to clear spirits. Mezcal is just something that needs a little bit of love. I think people need a little bit of education on as to what it is. And it's something that's going to appeal to the whiskey drinker, for sure. I really do believe. So, let's kind of give a little history on it. Tequila is probably one of the hottest spirits we saw last year, the last couple of years. Tequila sales going up. High-end tequilas hitting the market. Celebrities getting a stronghold in the tequila world. George Clooney with Casamigos. P. Diddy has De Leon.
Yep.
Obviously, The Rock with Terramana. I was surprised Santana, the musician, owns Casa Noble.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that. Sammy Hagar, who's been in the tequila business a couple of times, him and Guy Fieri have Santo that we have out there. There's a bunch of celebrity-endorsed tequila brands. Terramana is a beast right now. It is on fire.
It's great.
So with all of that, I don't know that people realize that tequila is actually just a subset of a bigger family.
Yeah.
And it's a family of agave-based spirits called mezcal. So all tequilas are actually mezcals, but not all mezcals are tequilas. Here's some of the differences. Peter Thomas is out there, so I know whatever it is I say, he's going to always have one more. Just a little bit smarter than I am, which I love. But yeah, here's the deal. There's about 200 varieties of agave that grow in Mexico. 40 to 50 of them can be used to make mezcal, but tequila can only use one type. It's blue agave, also known as Weber agave, which is named after Dr. Weber, who's kind of the guy who discovered that blue agave has pretty unique characteristics. So again, when you discover something, you get to name it after yourself. Kudos to you. So there's that. Mezcal and tequila are both AOs, which is appellation origin, which means internationally, globally, mezcal is recognized as a product being distinctive of Mexico from the mezcal region. Tequila is an AO, internationally recognized, and a lot of that just has to do with taxation purposes. I got a couple of other notes around here. To be pointed out, tequila is actually cooked above ground when they cook the agave in these sort of pressure cookers. Mezcals tend to be cooked underground in these fire pits, which is what gives it a lot of its smokiness to it. Tequila has to be a certain percentage of agave, and then they can add other sugar sources for distillation. Mezcal is 100% agave, so nothing else added. Which is why when you're buying tequila, you're looking for that 100% agave on there.
Yep.
It means that they haven't added any other sort of sugar-based products into it. I am the key master. Great Ghostbusters reference there.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie, by the way.
Classic.
So, these are all made from agave, which is, as Peter pointed out a long time ago when we first started becoming friends, Agaves are cactuses. They're part of the succulent family. And again, these aren't cactuses that have like the arms growing up. These are balls that grow in the ground. And they have sprouts that kind of look like aloe sprouts on them.
Okay.
And so what they do is they harvest these agaves, which, depending on the agave, has different years of maturation. Espadine kind of being the most common one. We'll see all these have espadine in them. And they basically kind of chop off all those sprouts, and you're left with this ball. The ball is called a piña. They then take that piña. If it's tequila, they roast it above ground. If it's mezcal, they dump it in this sort of fire pit.
Okay.
Roast it. So what that does is it kind of breaks down the sugars in there. And agaves are naturally sweet, and they're succulents, so they have a natural vegetal flavor as well. Then they take those roasted agaves. It's pretty fascinating if you look it up online and see some of the pictures. They put it on this big stone wheel. Then they have this stone grinding wheel, and they have horses or mules that pull them. The wheel kind of goes around, and it crushes all the piñas. They collect all that liquid. They put it in a fermenting tank. And depending on the classification, we'll talk about that in a bit. The natural yeast in the air will get into it, and then it ferments. So kind of like when you're making whiskey, you have to kind of make a beer.
Yeah.
That creates some alcohol, and then you have to distill it. They'll distill it up to about 55 proof, so like 30% alcohol, and then they'll redistill it. It gets up to be about 110 proof, and then they proof it down to bottling proof. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. There are 3 basic categories of mezcal. If it's just labeled as mezcal, it's basically what they consider to be industrialized mezcal. So it's just big, bulk form.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of that stuff is vanishing out of the marketplace. Much like cheap rot gut tequila, it's kind of vanishing with a better craft product. By the way, when you wonder how or why tequila is so expensive, or mezcal is so expensive, much like bourbon, in order to have an agave that you can make mezcal from, it's going to be 8 years old.
Okay.
And it's only growing in Mexico. So
Yeah.
you can't source it. So once they cut that out, it takes another 8 years for the plant to actually grow,
Yeah.
for you to even harvest it and make product,
Yeah.
let alone get a reposado or an añejo out of it. So if it's just labeled mezcal, it's the industrialized version. These, and we'll see it on there, it says mezcal artisanal. So artisanal basically is a production style, so it's made in sort of that traditional old school manner, but they can use column stills for distillation. Seems to be the biggest thing to me. And then there's one called ancestral, and that is strictly hardcore, old school Spanish conquistador days, where it has to be actually distilled in copper pots. They can use stainless steel pots, but no column distillation. The history of agave spirit goes all the way back to the Spanish conquistadors. When they arrived in Mexico, the natives were making something called pulque.
Okay.
So they were harvesting agave and basically making like beer out of it. But the Spanish had been making brandy. They knew how to distill. Somebody figured out how to make a more stable product, because beer is perishable. But when you distill it up to 80% or whatever,
Yeah.
it becomes a bartering product. It became very big in religious ceremonies. We'll see that when we get to this brand here. So it became part of their religious ceremonies, traditions. It became known as the elixir of the gods. When tequila became more of a specific thing, it was referred to as mezcal wine. And then I think in the 60s, tequila becomes its own product. And a lot of the final regulations that are in place on this happened in like the 90s and the 2000s. A lot of info.
Yeah, seriously.
For anybody who thought mezcal was just for ripping shots in college bars, there's a lot more that goes into it than that. There's basically 6 classifications of mezcal. What I like is a lot of these are on the bottle. So these are all Joven Joven. Joven or Blanco, so it just means young. Distilled, bottled, no aging. They have something, I want to make sure I get this right, Moderado and Vidrio, or matured in glass. So instead of putting it in a barrel and barrel aging it, they'll put it in a glass vessel, bury it so no light gets in it.
Okay.
So as it ferments and takes on those secondary flavors, you're not losing any alcohol to angel share, like you do with whiskey through a barrel, because the alcohol will evaporate through the wood. It will not evaporate through the glass. So Moderado and Vidrio, I probably crucified that mercilessly. Ripping shots in college bars, yeah, Ricky Hill. Next classification, reposado, much like tequila, aged 2 to 9 months, 10 months in barrels. Añejo, which is aged at least 12 months. That aged in glass is at least a year too. Then they have something called Aberrado, which is not very good to me. It's where they can infuse it, and this classification was actually designed for those mezcals that have a worm in it, which is actually a larva of actually in the Patron bottle, that sort of boll weevil thing.
Yeah.
That's what gets inside the cactus, and they live in there. And then the last classification of tequila, and this is the one I find the weirdest, most interesting, and I actually just ordered one for the store because I have to. It's called Destilado Con, or distilled with. This category is also known as Pechuga. So this is a sort of traditional style that they would drink in Mexico. Not a lot available commercially. Basically what they do is when they're distilling it in these open airs and their vapors are going up and they're collecting, they hang chicken breasts or turkey breasts or ham. It's actually become a wide open thing. There are vegan options now. So they hang something over it. So as the vapor from the distillation goes up, it's actually going through and picking up flavors of smoky meat.
What?
Simultaneously, they're pitching fruit and spices into that boiling distillate.
That's wild.
It's pretty wild. I think people hear that and they go like, ugh. I hear that and go like, I gotta try one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
So we should have one here by the end of next week.
Sweet.
As well. Mezcal, again, there's probably 40 to 50 varieties. If you come in the store, we actually have a sign over by them that lists about 12 different varieties. The most common one tends to be Espadín. And again, I picked these as 5 that you should try. By the way, Rick Hill, I think a couple of these are your brands. This and this in particular. Espadín, Baril, Cereal, Tobala is another one. So when we see on this, the 400 Cañejos. Cool little fact with this. When it was part of the religious ceremonies, they believed that the collection of the gods was about 400 of them.
Okay.
That they referred to as the 400 rabbits.
Okay.
Or 400 Cañejos.
Yeah.
Cañejo is actually the name of the regulatory commission down there that oversees all the rules and guidelines. So again, really, really cool once you learn how to navigate the label here, which I think will help. So we got 400 Cañejos. Espadín is the name of the agave. Joven, which is sort of the classification. It's young, unaged, fresh. Stone thrown by horse. So it's on that stone wheel, which is called a Tahona. Distilled in copper pots and roasted in a wood oven. So really, really cool. A little bit more truth in advertising than we get from some of our bourbons at times. This is Mezcal Union. So much like in whiskey, there is sort of distilleries set up all over Mexico, but a lot of the same product comes from a lot of the same distilleries. But mezcal, to me, is kind of like the moonshine of Mexico too.
Okay.
Whereas moonshine in this country, as farmers went west and they had corn and they didn't know what to do with the leftover corn, they would just make whiskey because it made a more stable product that they would barter with. So there's a lot of sort of what they call mezcalados around the countryside of Mexico that are making this in smaller batches.
Okay.
So these guys just sort of, kind of collectively, they basically form a co-op. Rosa Luna, which I love the package, which is part of the reason I picked it up. By the way, different proof points on these two. That's 40 proof, 80 proof, 40% alcohol. That's 80 proof. And then we get up 94. Here's some big boys. Again, water, yeast, agave. They like to say water, love. But on the back, it's plant-based, obviously. So these are vegan. Gluten-free. This one is from one single estate, so they're not blending from different distilleries. Mm-hmm. It's made from Espadín. Again, it's right there in the front. Yeah. Mezcal Artisan, Joven. All the labeling is right there. Bozal. Looks like a ceramic bottle.
Yeah.
Because it is. Pretty diesel. Espadín Barril Mexicano. Mezcal Artisanal. 94 proof. Joven. So all your info is on here. In a NOM, that's sort of like your DSP. So it's a distillery number.
Okay.
So it's a registry of... Excellent, Rick Hill, stopping by to show me some more mezcal. I love it. I think mezcal is going to be a hot category coming into the summer. And then last we have Mezcal Vago, recycled paper. I love this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And again, it's single village, so it's got Espadín. It's got the name of the village that it comes from. Stone grind, copper still. This one actually has the distillation date on it. How many liters in the batch, the classification, all the information right there on the label. And now we kind of know a little bit on how to navigate it.
That's wild.
So, mezcal is a little like moonshine. It's also a lot like scotch.
Yep.
In that, in Scotland, barley, which is what they make their scotch from, they dry it out by burning peat moss underneath it, and so the smoke from that peat kind of gets its way into some of the scotches. Now, not every scotch is smoky, but certain ones are. Because of the roasting and the fire roasting of the agave here, some of these are going to have a lot of smoke to them.
Yep.
But again, agave, when we think of like agave nectar, agave syrup, stuff is really sweet.
Yeah.
So the agave has a lot of sweetness, a lot of vegetal character, and some smoke from the production. So I've been kind of going back and forth. Do I want to start smoky to sweet, or go sweet to smoky?
I think we should start with the sweet.
I do too.
Which one to start with?
No, I think I'm actually going to go smoky to sweet, which would seem counterintuitive to the way our palates go.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see also as we get into the more expensive stuff. Because the smoky tends to be lighter in body, at least with these five. So this is a 400 Cañejos. Really, really smoky. Almost like burnt rubber.
Yeah, it's burnt rubber. Yeah.
But again, if you're a Scotch drinker, and you're drinking Lafroig, Lagavulin, Ardbeg, you want something a little lighter. This is going to be a great substitute for that.
Seriously, yeah.
It's almost interchangeable with that sort of peat smoke. You know, traditionally in Mexico they drink this straight.
Yeah.
But to me, like, if you're making some sort of herbal twist on a gin cocktail, like a Negroni, this is going to work well in it. When we get to about here with the Rosa Luna, for a slightly more flavorful take on a vodka soda, mezcal and soda. Sometimes vodka soda gets boring. You want something with a little bit of flavor. It's got big smoke in the nose, but yeah, when you taste it, sweet and vegetal in the back, but the smoke is definitely more pronounced out front.
It's easy to drink though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. At first, that smoke is like, that's a bit much,
Yeah.
but you kind of get used to it. Much like trying anything different, once you acquire it, yeah, that sweetness definitely on the back end after it sits for a second. And yeah, throw a cube in there, a little drop of water. So that, to me, when I tasted these, was the smokiest out of all of them. They're going to descend in smoke and get a little bit more balance as we go up. But again, these are 5 that we carry, that if you're curious about mezcal, these are definitely all recommended. In stock, available. And also that smokiness, obviously it's interchangeable with tequila too. So if you want to make smoky margaritas, palomas, these are great with those.
Yeah, you can already on the nose some tone down on the smokiness.
Yeah. A little bit more tropical fruit. The smoke is toned down. Not for nothing, I love all the bottles too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
they're all
colorful.
different.
We don't talk about price, but these first 3, actually these first 4, really, really affordable. I got one more Rick Hills I'm gonna, no, not Rick Hills, sorry, somebody else's. We'll show. Because there's not a lot of celebrity mezcals, but there is one. And it's a pretty big one.
That is fantastic. Like you said, like as you go down, you feel like there's more body to it. I feel like, yeah, that.
Yeah, it's heavy, it's weighty. I mean, I could just drink that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, I get like that, I don't know, vanilla cream, but almost a little hint of bell pepper as well.
Yeah, that one is fantastic.
Now this one, again, this is a Rick Hill brand. Mr. Bruce Smith, my sales rep. Rosa Luna. Again, for you health-conscious people, gluten-free, which, by the way, all distilled spirits, not cordials, all distilled spirits are gluten-free. We've always known that, but the FDA finally came out and said that distillation will kill any sort of properties of gluten. So if you're celiac, you have any sort of gluten allergies, you can drink vodka, you can drink gin, you can drink rum, you can drink tequila, you can drink mezcal. And the great thing with mezcal, there's no sugar added to it. So this is also diabetic friendly, keto friendly. Rick Hill, you are welcome to come join us anytime. I know you're a wealth of knowledge. Rick Hill is was part of the group that took us to go to Hill Rock in New York.
Okay.
One of the times I got to meet Dave Peckerell, who was on the Mount Rushmore of whiskey.
That's sick.
He was the guy behind Blackened,
Okay.
Hill Rock. He was the master distiller at Maker's Mark. He is.
Oh yeah.
The guy was just genius.
Whistle Pig, you said?
Yeah, yeah, and that's right. Dave Peckerell is the mastermind behind Whistle Pig and all the Boss Hog stuff. Okay. Sweet, rich. Yeah, I would drink that instead of vodka soda.
I didn't know what I was getting into doing this because I'm not the biggest mezcal, or I wouldn't say fan. I just didn't have enough knowledge on it to really know it. Like I thought they were the same thing as tequila. But I had this the other day with you, and I was like, wow.
That's
whole new
big
world.
and rich, and it's all that natural agave sweetness. Yeah, Rick Hill, kudos. This is fantastic. And yeah, we can promise you we'll be promoting the crap out of that.
Yeah.
It's affordable. Again, it looks great on the bar. Now for the two higher ends, I'm going to switch over just to a more stylish glass. And this is the Bozal. So obviously a little bit higher end. The bottle, diesel.
I love this bottle.
And they make a whole line of mezcals in different colored bottles with different varieties of agave as well. Again, 94 proof. So these are nice intros. This is a little bit more serious, a little bit more body. That's fantastic. So again, not as smoky as the first one. A little bit more balanced. Again, that sort of vanilla.
Yeah.
Tropical fruit, sort of pineapple, papaya, mango. And this, man, sitting out on Sunday fun day. This over ice, little splash of soda.
One of my favorite terms to use now, because you use the viscosity. That is big in that, I think.
Yeah, and as much as the smoke to me is bigger in this
Than
this,
Yeah.
but the
more,
sweetness is bigger
I think,
too.
The smoke is more subtle.
Yeah,
opposed to, like,
everything is just
Yeah. It blends
amped
together.
up.
That's awesome.
I love mezcal in a Paloma, which is grapefruit soda.
Yep.
We do it with the Fever Tree grapefruit soda, just because smokiness and grapefruit are such a natural pairing.
Yeah.
As well, smoke and citrus. Now this, definitely the most expensive bottle on the table. Not gonna tell you by how much, but I will say it's also worth the money. And again, these guys do a whole line. By the way, no sponsorship here. Nobody has given us these bottles. These are all from my personally paid for collection.
Thank you.
Which just means that when we recommend something, whether it's mezcal, whether it's whiskey, whether it's gin, if you come in the store and you talk to Corey about gin, he's not going to recommend you something that he doesn't drink himself.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just sort of what we do here. And I know people think like, oh, you must say everything is good. No, I'll tell you when it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
This totally unique. I'm not even sure what that aroma is.
No, it's different than all of them, for sure.
It's something floral. It almost reminds me of if you go through like a hothouse, like a greenhouse.
Greenhouse, yeah.
If you go to like the flower show and you can smell like
Yeah.
not the bright sort of perfumey flowers, but like the green.
The green flowers and like the...
Yeah, I get a lot of like almost like pear, green apple.
I can see the pear.
Yeah. Like green fruits.
That is unreal. Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh. That's awesome. What's the proof? 49.
So it's almost 100 proof.
About
That's
100
right.
proof, yeah.
And it's funny when we start with something smoky, and we're thinking like this is gonna wreck the palate.
Yeah.
The body of everything going up
Yeah.
totally erases the smoke, and it proves that like if you like it smoky, mezcal has some options for you.
Yeah.
But if you don't want as much smoke, mezcal also has some options. So in that way, it's very much like gin. You know.
Yeah.
They don't all taste like pine trees. Mezcals don't all taste like smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, the difference going, I think it was a great idea going from smoke to less smoky, because that was
And not for nothing, that at almost 100 proof too.
Dangerous.
That's a problem. All right, so we have one more mezcal on the table. We only had 5 glasses. I wasn't sure if we were going to open this, but we're here. It's raining out. It's going to snow tomorrow. It's terrible.
I can't believe you said that. Like, you're saying that at least.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Whatever. Welcome to New England.
Yep. So yeah, here we are. Drinking mezcal. Makes us think of warmer weather.
Yep. Hopefully when we walk back outside it'll be 75 and sunny outside.
Yeah. I thought I heard rain on the roof.
I know, me too.
Alright, so this is new to the store. It's not new per se. I think it came out about a year and a half ago. It's one of the only celebrity mezcals that I know. And it's funny, if you do a Google search for celebrity tequila, things just pop up.
Yeah.
This is started by Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul.
No way.
Yeah.
This
is the Breaking Bad guys, and this is their mezcal. Dos Hombres, 2 men. Yeah.
That's
so right there, Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul. This is the Breaking Bad guys working together. I like the bottle in that it's very simple, understated.
Where? I feel like I've seen that. Is that on Casamigos?
Yeah, so that's actually an agave plant.
Okay.
You guys can't see it out there, so I'm not going to bother. But and those are probably donkeys or mules. Dos Mezcal artisanal.
Yeah.
So again, we know what it is. Joven,
Yep.
young, 100% agave, which it has to be. And then on the back has the traditional pronunciation, but it's actually Espadin. So when I tried this, I'm always kind of weirded out by celebrity endorsed products, you know. It was in a money grab. And then I tasted this and I thought, again, if it's good, I will find a place for it in the store. I will get excited about it, and I will share it with you guys.
Well, we do know Bryan Cranston is a great chemist, so.
Yes, yeah. Now you know what he was doing out there, you know, making meth in the the desert. Wandered around and found some agaves.
That is awesome. One of my favorite TV shows, so didn't know that's from them.
Yeah.
That's coming home with me. Whew. Yes.
It's got big aromas. This is a little bit more expensive than this, but I felt it was worth the money when I first tried it.
Damn, this is like super complex, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. They may be celebrity endorsing it, but I'm sure they had something to do with kind of the production of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toby Keith is behind Wild Shot Peter. I was kind of surprised to learn about the Santana angle. I did not know that. Justin Timberlake has one. The 901 is his. Backstreet Boys announced that they have one, but nobody knows what it is. There was a hip-hop artist that had one too. And I forget who that was, but it was tequila, mezcal that we didn't, tequila that we didn't carry.
For what it's worth, I feel like all the celebrity ones that we carry are solid.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like you said, that Terramana is fantastic.
Terramana is on fire.
Yeah. Nick Jonas.
Yeah, Nick Jonas has one as well.
I didn't know that, Peter. Shot.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was on that list of when I Googled. Dos Hombres.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that smokiness, honestly. And it's weird because I'm not a Scotch guy at all. But it's like, I guess my palate's changing, honestly. 'Cause I love that. But it's like subtle smoke.
Yeah.
With that sweetness too. So that's great.
It's got big sweetness, like lingering. I'm getting sort of that mouth-watering,
Yeah.
almost like vanilla frosting, trace leches. And then, yeah, there's just enough smoke in the background to keep that sweetness from kind of getting out of hand. Not as much of the vegetal character there, but yeah, that's a problem too.
I don't even know the price. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Literally, that stuff's awesome.
84 proof. So again, we're variety of proof points, all different styles, and what's cool is Espadine in all of them. They all taste a little different.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is
something
there-
you should try.
Is there mezcals that go over 100 proof? Or is that like the highest one you've seen?
That's the highest one I've seen.
Okay.
The highest tequila I've seen is that Fortaleza Still Strength, which goes over 100. I honestly don't know if the sugar content in
handle
the agave is enough to really get up that high. Whereas with bourbon, like the amount of starch in the corn,
Yeah.
and then the barley kind of stimulates that alcohol growth in just the different ways that they distill, the column stills. So I honestly don't know if they can actually.
Even do it.
Everything I read was when they do that second distillation, it gets up to 110 proof. I don't know that it can get any higher than that. And then obviously it's just water to kind of proof it down.
Yeah.
So there it is. First big experience with mezcal.
Yeah. Love it. It's getting hard to find things I don't like now at this point.
Yeah. It just sort of proves it when you get good stuff.
Yeah.
It really does
Make a difference.
make a difference. Whether it's gin, whether it's tequila, whether it's mezcal,
Brandy.
brandies. And I really am glad, like, we were kind of ahead of the curve last year, taking a position on all these brands that we hadn't carried before, because of the health benefits, because people were drinking more tequila.
Yeah.
But like when I started drinking, there was a lot of sort of caramel coloring. There was a brand called Monte Albin. There was a brand that you used to be able to buy in nips called Dos Gusanos, which means two worms. I'm so happy I don't see any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And there really is this big push towards these sort of craft mezcals that are just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And they don't all taste like campfire, and they're not all gold in color. They're young, they're fresh, they're clean, and I am curious. We'll have to come back. We'll do something when the Pachuga comes in, because
I'm curious about that. I'm curious how to see how.
Thank you, Peter.
These are all Joven and Blancos.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had Reposado, but I want like this one or avocado. Like, I'm curious to see what.
How it changes when it ages.
Yeah.
And again, like, some of these aren't cheap, like this and this. But again, if it takes... So this one actually says... One of them says... Oh, the Union. So they're using agaves between 8 and 20 years old. So when you think of bourbon, in the beginning of the season, you plant a corn crop. At the end of the season, you have corn that you can make bourbon with.
But these guys gotta wait.
These guys gotta wait 8 years
That's wild.
before what they're growing, and they can only get it from certain areas.
Yeah, so there's only so much supply.
So there's only so much supply. So to make a reposado and sit on that supply for another 9 months, to do an añejo for a year or more.
Is it worth it, money-wise, or?
Yeah, I don't know what the taxation rate is down there. I know with bourbon, like, every day the barrel spends in the warehouse, they're getting taxed on it.
Yeah.
So,
It's absurd.
The push for silver may sort of be just derived out of, we don't want to pay taxes on this stuff. Let's make it, bottle it, and kind of get it out. I would be curious to find one of those married, aged in glass ones.
Yeah, that would be
just
cool.
to kind of see like what a year-old tequila is with no color.
Yeah.
Or year-old mezcal. Peter Thomas for the win yet again. Who's going to bring us in a reposado mezcal and an añejo mezcal to taste.
Love it. Thank you.
That is awesome. All right, I suppose we should wrap it up from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's like the Wizard of Oz when we go back out there. It's like a colorful world.
Yeah,
There's a
beautiful.
yellow road going through West Boylston. And
Yeah, we might need a few more of these.
Yeah. So there it is. Again, we are off next week as I'm going down to the ATL to do some hunting. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Do some more happy hour.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some more mezcal. Make some more cocktails. Have some more fun.
Always.
Until then, these are all available on our website. If you guys want to do curbside, they're all available to order there as well. So, yeah, Mars, we'll let you taste all of these. Obviously, I have them all open. So, yeah, go enjoy the rest of your night. Cheers, guys. Love you all. Breaking Bad for the win.
Dude.